back to me only. This is the one I probably use the most.
Hello, hello, all those beautiful faces. How we doing? Stephanie checking in with another episode of Class Disruption. And for the past 3 weeks, or actually 4 weeks because I skipped a week in there, I did a series on lesson planning, went through the whole phase from the curriculum mapping out the whole year to the unit plan to the single lesson. So if you're interested in that, definitely go check it out. I definitely want your feedback. Let me know what you think worked really well, what you think I could have explained better, and what you do in your classroom. And I did miss a week in there, but I'm getting back on track. I had made content over on my other page, Making History with Miss Edmonds. So definitely go check that out. I'm doing a lot of cool things over there. That's more focused towards students or people who are looking for things to help support their students in their classroom. Whereas on here, this is more teacher to teacher. We do political stuff, we do the PD type stuff, and we do interviews like we're gonna do today. But before we get into that, you know what I need you to do. Smash that like button for me. And if you're new here, I love that beautiful face. You can see I brought my beautiful face today, even though my hair's a little messy. My son is actually taking a nap. So I was like, you know what? Let me get this in real quick so I can get this out to the people, because I have a great conversation for you today. But like I was saying, if you're new here, smash that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can get notified every time I drop a video. I try to get them coming out to you every week, and we're gonna get back more into some political stuff and to some more conversations with other educators around the country and hey, even around the world. So let's go ahead and get into today. Today, I'm talking with Jaime Avila. He is a teacher out in San Jose, California. I've been connected with him for a while now through Instagram. And he's also on Twitter. So definitely go and follow him on those platforms. I'll throw all his links in the description down below. He's always making a lot of cool content, and his specialty is around tech. His handle is Avila Teach, and I always in my head just get it confused, Avila Tech, because he makes awesome content helping teachers figure out, especially now, I mean, it's more relevant than ever, but he's been on this like for a while now, and he's put me onto a lot of good game. Into today's video, he's gonna bring me through how he runs his Zoom, and it's not just like normal how you might run your Zoom, share your screen, all that. He's got a little fancy upgrade that he does through an application called OBS. So yeah, it's a little bit technical. I use OBS actually for some things on when I do my videos and I screen share. It's not quite at this level, but I'm definitely, after this, he's inspired me. I'm gonna have to do this. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's conversation with Jaime Avila. All right, Jaime, aka Avila Teach. We were just saying, I was like, wait, what is your name? I just know you as Avila Teach. So what's going on?
Oh, nothing much. I was just saying earlier, like I said, it's such a huge honor to be on here. I've been following you for a long time now. Inspirational. Like I said, you always keep me motivated, just seeing how positive you are and how you're always in education. I mean, that gets me going, that pushes me. So I just wanted to thank you for that. It's awesome that, like I said, you're a great teacher voice out there.
Oh, thank you, man. And likewise. I'm seeing the stuff that you do and all, like getting the cameras and the GoFundMes. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And it's just so cool how we can, develop these personal relationships. It's hard to do sometimes online, but
yeah, it really is. It really is, especially now,
but it's possible, it's definitely possible. So we're making it happen. And I mean, I know, pretty decent amount about you at this time. You helped me out with a video like way back when this whole COVID thing started.
Really?
Remember that?
I'm trying to remember, what video was it?
We did the thing about like your experience with like COVID and what your school system's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a while ago.
I know. I almost forgot myself.
Yeah, that was right after we went out of school. That was way back when.
All right, so for everybody who's not familiar with us, tell us a little about who you are, what you do, where you're from, and what you're all about.
Okay, well, my name's Jaime Avila. I live in San Jose, California, teach in San Jose, California. I've been doing that for about 15 years now. It's been a while.
Okay. Let them know. Drop those years on them.
Seriously, but I'm still super excited, still super passionate about education. Uh, what gets me going is educational technology and how to use it the right way. I said it from way before any of this ever started. Technology is just a tool. It can be a powerful tool, but it will never replace teachers. Like you have to have great fundamentals as a teacher and leverage technology. And once all this hit, I think it made it abundantly clear technology will not replace teachers. You have to have passionate
So the
educators.
lizards aren't trying to replace the human race?
I don't think so. They might be trying, but they're not succeeding.
And I'm 100% on board with you. There's just something about that human element. And I think we're all experiencing that right now with like, okay, how do we build these relationships that are so key for when things get hard? And not like, and now it's not only that they're getting hard, they start hard.
Yeah,
So,
just right out the gate, it was much harder to make connections with students. And that, like, for myself, that's what I base my class on. The foundation of my classroom is the community that we build with each other. And that's what I leverage throughout the year to get them going. And it's just so much harder in this environment.
yeah, and you really get those kids going. I see the cool projects that you have them do. And of course, you have the cameras in there. So you're giving us content about it. The kids are making content, which
Yeah.
is something that I'm very much aspiring to do more of. So I'm following your lead 100%, as I should, as my elder in this whole thing here.
Well, I for me, I've always said to, like, be who you are. Like, you are who you are. Um, you don't have to look at somebody and be like, oh, that's exactly who you like. I should do it that way. You
Mm,
the pieces that fit your personality and that you're comfortable with, because there's some teachers who do some amazing things out there. It's just so far outside of my own, like, personality.
right.
So hard. Just backstory. I almost didn't become a teacher because of that problem. I had an amazing master teacher who I tried to mimic, and
Okay.
it was an absolute disaster.
Okay. Listen up, new teachers. Listen up, new teachers. This is good.
I was that close from not being an educator, because I looked at that educator and I said, I need to do exactly what they're doing. But their personality was so different than
Mm,
mine. And it came off as inauthentic. In,
okay.
I was basically just, I said, just mirroring what they did, but it just didn't come off the right way. Like, they had a certain vibe and a certain energy to that, just their
Yeah.
personality. And it just didn't fit me.
So
So,
interesting.
and we had a long conversation. So it was interesting. So my master teacher, his name is Brian Berrientes. He was actually my physics teacher. So I was mentoring under,
Shout out Brian.
yeah, mentoring, or he was mentoring me since high school, since I was a high school student. So it's kind of cool to come back. And
Very.
yeah, like I say, he's an amazing teacher, but definitely a different vibe to him than I have. So we had a long conversation. I understood I have to be my authentic self in the classroom, and it's been all good ever since.
Yeah, and I was actually helping out another one of our Instagram friends, Kwame. He does a whole thing about forming your identity as a teacher and really doing a lot of good work with the new teachers. So, little plug there for Kwame, but you've definitely found your groove and your identity as a teacher, and it you can tell through the camera for sure.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so, like, all this, I mean, it's amazing, but especially, like, right now, I don't think teachers need to feel pressured that, oh, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm
Mm.
failing my students. This is the one thing I happen to be doing. And if somebody can borrow a piece of that, that'd be fantastic. But
Yes, and I want to get all into more of what you're doing for sure. And yeah, but that's great advice, right? Take what works for you and leave what doesn't. And
yeah,
sometimes, sometimes you might try things that you don't think are going to work for you and they actually work out. Sometimes you're going to try things that you think are going to work and you're like, that didn't work. So you got to find joy in it. And that's something I've been like preaching a lot about too lately, is just like have fun with it. Like, what are we doing, guys? Have some fun.
Yeah, and it's okay to try something and have it. I think a lot of people, I used to be like this, where I was so afraid to try something because I was scared of failure. So I kept myself in this tiny little box that I try to control every
Mm.
little thing. And once I let go of that, it made teaching so much more fun.
So much. Yeah. And it's like, and nothing really is ever a failure. Yeah, some things don't work out, but I constantly find that things that I do and then don't seem to work out end up coming back to benefit me down the road. I'll be like, oh, I did this that one time. It didn't work out, but now it's going to come in handy.
Well, it's
So,
too, because like my students get to see that, and I tell them it's okay. Like, I shouldn't have to pretend like teachers are perfect. We're not, and that's okay, because at least I look at myself as that lifelong learner we always talk about. You're
yep.
still going to make mistakes, and it's great for them to see that, like just phenomenal failures. And I just remind them, see, it's okay, because I'm going to learn something from this. Don't do that again.
Yeah. So, speaking of your classroom and modeling for your students, I want to know, take us around your classroom and what does a typical day look like? Because I know you got a cool setup. I think you're about to switch us over there right now.
Like,
Oh, hey.
so this idea, wasn't necessarily an original idea of mine. I was
Are
looking.
any ideas original?
I don't. Yeah, no. Teachers are. We steal everything.
100%.
Yeah, we call it collaboration. When kids do it, it's copying.
No, I'm all for it. Put your own twist on it.
So, over the summer, I was looking at a lot of these teachers who were creating these Bitmoji classrooms in Google Slides. I thought, man, that's such a cool idea. So I started looking at how they were putting it together and these elements that they were dragging in. And then it just so happens that I was watching a video, or one of Shivy's lives.
Yes, shout out, call me Shivy.
And shout out, call me Shivy. Thank you. Yeah, actually, he's the one you got to blame for this, because he sent me down the rabbit hole. None of this was planned. It was because I was looking for a soundboard. So Shivy has this awesome setup where he has like a physical soundboard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the kind of person who, if I can find it for free 99, I'm going to find it for free 99. So
Yes.
alternative to it. And I found a digital one, but as I was doing that and looking at soundboards, I was like, well, who uses this equipment? And it turns out a lot of live streamers and gamers use this equipment. And so I ran across these things called virtual cams. So it started off with like Ecamm. There's another one I can't remember, but OBS was another one, and OBS is free.
Right.
When I started looking at OBS, I'm like, oh, you can actually design things in OBS. You can like drag and drop things in OBS. So just like they were doing with that Bitmoji classroom, I started dragging and dropping elements in here, which is really cool. So like,
And by the way, yours is way cooler than any of those Bitmoji things.
well, it's personalized to me. Like that's the other thing. Like this is very much my personality. Like when my kids
And I like that you're in it, like the Bitmoji thing is still like a slide. And so,
yeah. And so again, it was borrowing from that idea, Shivy's idea with the soundboard, and then people who live stream. So it was just taking all these different ideas and combining it into what I have now. And what's cool is like this little digital screen over here.
yeah.
You can't see it. Like I don't expect my kids to read text that small.
Right.
Nice when like I can show different things. It's not just like a static image.
Okay, cool.
So whatever I'm projecting on my sides, I have 3 screens going, too many. But whatever I'm looking at on my screen over here is what's popping up over there.
Okay.
Like I can actually switch to where, again, back to me only. This is the one I probably use the most.
I like that. That's what I want to do. I just want to be in my slides.
Yeah, so it's me here. Sometimes I need to get myself out of the way. So okay, like I'll take my, but they can still hear me. And you can still do this in Zoom. There's the screen share option, but for me, it became the speed at which I was able to do it. So I can just,
Yeah, it's always laggy. Like when you move from screen share, the thing that I hate about it too is that your chat box and your participants, they always go back in. And then if I share the screen, then I have to pop them back out, drag them over to my share screen. That is my number one pet peeve.
yeah. And so this, took care of a lot of that for me. I was like, this is cool.
Okay, so then do you have your Zoom? So you have like OBS open and then you have the Zoom just like regular, not sharing screen. And so it stays nice like that.
So what's cool is, sorry for like the multiple infinite screen, but this is what I'm looking at.
Hey, that's a beautiful face right there though.
So what's cool is kids can still drop in reactions. Like I can still drop in like
Oh yeah.
when I'm in Zoom, when I just need to get a quick feel for the class, I ask them, have you opened up the document? Give me a thumbs up. And so I just quickly look across all my little boxes.
And then you can actually see all their faces too on gallery view versus having them be like in that little strip.
Which is like, again, it's so awesome. And so in OBS, so what I'm controlling is this here. So
right.
This little box here is controlling OBS. So like if I want to go to my Bitmoji classroom, I click that button.
Oh, so you have like a bunch of presets and then you can just click through the preset.
And so what you're seeing is this. So,
right.
To me only, then I'm back to this in Zoom. And so everything is, it's preset. So again, just the speed at which I'm able to switch. So what's really cool is I can have my document cam. So my little fish and
oh, cool. So you have that set up as one of the presets you can scroll to. Awesome.
And so like this is my Halloween one.
Oh yeah. Oh, and plug, by the way, like if you want to know like the real technical ways of how to do all this stuff, how to set up a Halloween classroom, you have an awesome YouTube channel. What are the details for reaching that?
Oh, so my tag across Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube is the same. It's at Avila Teach or just Avila Teach. And I have a ton of videos on different tech things. Like I said, that's kind of my wheelhouse is technology. But again, it's not like you can't put a document camera in Zoom. It just takes a while. Like you got to go to screen share. You got to switch it over to document cam.
Right.
So a lot of this just became, okay, I just want to do things fast.
No, it looks way more quicker, seamless, and it's more fun ways to switch it up. Bitmoji is cool, but this has infinite options available because you just go online and find whatever you want.
Yeah, and I had just this gigantic folder of images where I can take them, drop them in. So like my most recent one is like this little Among Us player.
Yeah. Oh no, that guy's looking sus.
So, but again, it's just super easy to play with these things. It's not, super crazy to set up. The only thing you have to be comfortable with is layers, just the idea of layers, that one thing will sit on top of another. People are Instagrammers and you've tried to put it in your story, or you've worked in Photoshop or even Google Slides.
Yeah, or Canva.
If you're familiar with the idea of layers,
mm-hmm.
that's most of the battle in setting these scenes right here.
So cool.
Having this is like my favorite view for my students.
All right, this is my goal. By the end of this marking period, I got to get this hooked up. Okay, so tell us though about, I know you have a hack for a green screen. So tell us about your green screen hack. For those of us, you could see like me, I just have a gray background.
So for me, again, I love free 99. I'm a teacher, or something that's very cheap. On Amazon, you can go buy a green screen for $40 or $50. I'm like, and well, on top of everything else, there's all these things that you're always buying. And so it's like, nah, there's got to be a different way. And really, all OBS needs or Zoom needs is it just needs a reference color in
right.
So I'm it's the wrong one. So here in filters, I'm just telling it like, I want you to take out anything that is this color, which happens to be like this greenish color.
Uh-huh.
Take it out of the scene. I could easily have done it for like magenta. See, but now you can see my green screen.
Right, because yours is green. So like I could technically, I guess I'm wearing gray, so it wouldn't work. Like you can't wear green.
Yeah, I can't wear green or it's going to look like my head's floating, which is
Yeah. Okay, so if I wasn't wearing gray, say I was wearing a blue shirt, I could technically tell it like take out this gray and it would take out this behind me.
yes. So anything that is gray, it will take it out. So
Okay.
not that difficult to do. Like if you come over to custom color, like this is getting into the heavy details.
Yeah.
A
And
lot-
so, and then for your green screen, for the green part, like say somebody wanted to use green, like if they didn't have a solid color wall available to them, you got like something from a dollar store, right?
Yeah, this is just a dollar store table cover. Yeah, is this a dollar store table cover? I'm not going to spend $40. Yeah.
And
Or
then you just pinned it up on the wall and you're good to go.
I mean, yeah, why am I going to drop down $40? It's lasted this entire time.
That's amazing.
Here tugging on it. So yeah, it totally works. So I'm all into like hacking things on the cheap. That's
Yeah.
just like I said, because we got enough to spend money on.
Yeah, I was showing my kids off today my standing desk. At school, I like a few years ago, I actually bought myself like a standing desk and it like rolls around and it's really dope. But at my house, I just have a regular desk. And so I have these cardboard boxes. I mean, we get 1,000,000 boxes sent to the house these days. So I just propped it up here on the box. Now we got a standing desk.
Yeah, that's my standing desk. It's just it's a tabletop with a box on top.
There we go.
So like I said, everything on the cheap. I will say for OBS, people who are interested in running it, when I first started, our school gives us MacBooks. So we have a MacBook Pro. And I try to run it on the MacBook Pro and it gets a little laggy. So the MacBook Pro has had trouble handling OBS.
Okay.
It's like
Interesting.
it's like if you've ever run Premiere Pro,
Yeah.
their video editing software, it takes up a lot of CPU. And if you're trying to run OBS and you're trying to run Zoom, it zaps a lot of the CPU. So it's going to slow one of them down. I just have, like, again, I happen to be a tech person. So I have a PC that has a graphics card. So that helps out with not having it be so laggy. So it's just like a little disclaimer on people who want to use.
Okay, because I have a MacBook Air, so I bet that probably has a small graphics card. So I might have issues then.
And the only way to know is to try.
All right, so I'm going to try it. I'll try it.
So some of my other colleagues, we've been talking about this, live streamers, because again, this idea comes from live streamers. Most live streamers are using what they call a 2-rig system. I wouldn't use it, but because this is fine for me. But some people are running OBS on one computer, so that handles all of OBS's stuff.
Yeah.
And then they just output that video into Zoom on another computer, which is possible. So like I'm going to have a video on that pretty soon.
Okay, cool.
Run a 2-rig system.
Yeah, maybe for Christmas, Santa will bring me like a nicer computer.
Or I've used Donors Choose over the last couple of years and I've gotten a ton of equipment. So like the 3 screens that I have, so this camera that I'm using is not a webcam, it's a DSLR camera. And all of this stuff I got from Donors Choose.
Okay, I remember you were telling me about that. Donors Choose is like you have to choose from specific vendors and stuff.
Yeah, but for the most part, at least technology wise, they're connected with Best Buy and DW.
So I can just go on there and like pick stuff that I want and people buy it for me.
Basically, yeah. And sometimes they have these great like promos where they'll say, okay, if you donate $10, there's some other company that will match that 50%.
All right. I need to get it. I know I already said I was going to do that. I did actually put up, and this is a plug for myself. I did put up a GoFundMe. I'm trying to get $500 so I can buy just things for like events and buy prizes to give away to the kids because I do a lot of student activities. So I need to get on this though, because I definitely would love to have some upgrade equipment again, because to do more of that content creation with my students.
Well, that's kind of where it all started. I started watching Real Rap with Reynolds, Bond with James. That's how I found you, and then Shivy, a lot of others. And I was like, I probably should get into the content game. And
Yeah, listen, educators out here killing the game.
There's a lot of.
Then they want to complain about how much they get paid, but that's another story.
I was like, I get that. Like I said, teachers are underpaid, but I'm not going to wait for the state to do that. So get yourself a side hustle.
But yeah, that's my main argument. Listen, like it's not that I don't think teachers shouldn't be paid more. It's that I think that actually we have a pretty good setup for the amount that we work. And like having a side hustle is like not a bad thing.
No,
it's an amazing advantage. That's how I view it. And if we want that system where they pay teachers more, we got to create it. We're not going to complain to the people that messed up the system and they're like, oh yeah, we'll pay you more. That's a good idea.
Yeah, they got it wrong in the first place.
Yeah, like that's the way I see it. Which, and I mean, this is a little side note more from what we're talking about, but that's my thing too. Is like I have certain political positions, and I think semantically I'm at odds with a lot of people. I'm not so much into like the fluffy stuff when I come to talking about it, and so, but like in action, I'm like, but wait, look how we both act. We're acting the same, even though we might be saying different things.
Yeah, so. Exactly.
The other thing I wanted you to show me though is that soundboard. What sounds you got on that soundboard?
So, because you're running the meeting, I don't know. It might be able to pump it through. Let me see if I can share.
Like if you share your screen and share sound.
I believe so. So let me try it. We're gonna see if this works. So I'm switching through some stuff here. There we go. All right. So I think you can see me.
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, and I think we're pumping out sound now. So again, all of this was derived from Shivy's soundboard that he was running, and so I was like, okay, we got to have, or I have to have a soundboard. And so there's this online soundboard where hopefully you'll be able to hear it, and I'll try to zoom in here.
And I know you just put out a video on this one too, where you go through the soundboard and all the technical aspects of it. This is just a little sneak peek.
And it's just I'm sure. So one of the issues with with this is sometimes I'm looking at my screen, I'm saying, okay, kids, like you want to do this, this, and this, and then I realize that I haven't switched my screen. Avila, you got to switch your screen. There we go.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I was talking about right.
That's here. So quick though. It happens so quick.
So you just go in, and again, there's some inappropriate sounds, so you gotta you gotta check them. But you can create like your own favorites list, and it's just kind of cool when we're in class. A kid says something, and I say something that I think is funny, and nobody says anything. So
that's a good one. All the time.
Yeah.
I want to hear the bruh. Yeah.
This one, when a kid says something funny, you're just like, bruh.
Bruh. Watch the curse words in the chat, bruh.
Or somebody says something like, just super funny. You just like, wow.
Oh, and you got the funk flex bomb on there. That's a must have.
Yeah. So that was from you. So
on the story one day, right? I was talking about dropping bombs like funk flex. I remember that.
One of my other favorites is when a student, I talk about my failures all the time. My kids over time get comfortable. I joke around with them a lot. And so if they're comfortable with at a certain point, and they just throw that shot in the dark, because sometimes I just give me an answer.
Yep.
To see what's rolling around in your head right now. And sometimes when it's just way out there and everybody's like, Kobe, it's just one of those like
hit him with the Kobe.
You just took
so good
shots. So I mean, this is just adds a little extra to it. We can't be in the classroom and clap for them, or have some of those reactions. So it just some a little extra to have in the classroom. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. I got to get this rocking and rolling.
Yeah. So but on the other side, it's one more thing you kind of got to monitor off to the side. Like so this is off on a separate screen.
Okay.
So my settings, but you just make it small like this and zoom out. That's why I had it zoomed out. And so I just kind of have it off to the side. And of course, when I hear something, it's like, okay,
Cha-ching, that's it right there. The money answer.
It's just a great way to like either start your class or end your class,
Oh,
So
like that one.
like I said, it's just anything to kind of liven this up a little bit, because like I said, it's not right now, it's not the classroom.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely different. I think it's hopefully when things go back or whatever, we take all the good stuff that we learned from this and we use it to enhance that in-person instruction. But I don't think on any wide scale, like I think it might make sense for certain kids in certain situations on a smaller scale to have like virtual schools. I know there's virtual charter schools, but I don't see it being like a widespread thing. But
no.
we definitely should take more advantage of what we've learned from technology in the classroom.
Well, I think one of the plays, this is kind of outside of the classroom, but the ability to meet with parents over Zoom.
Yes.
They're comfortable with it. I'm comfortable with it. We just set a meeting, we schedule a time, and that's it. And they click on it. So I'm not there on the phone calling and seeing, okay, I still get on the phone for people who don't reply to emails, but if we can schedule something on Google Calendar and I just know, okay, I need to be here at this time with this parent, talk about this issue, it just makes things so much easier.
Yes.
It's just one of those things that helps my workflow throughout the day.
100% into it. Yeah, I've definitely been making some changes to my workflow as well. Like I used to really like to write things down on a list, but I've been finding that actually, since basically my whole day I'm glued to the screen, it's better to have it in my Google Calendar and it could just be right there in the corner and slide over and back and forth.
Yeah.
Whereas when I wasn't on the computer all day and I was moving from place to place, I wanted to bring my list with me on a pad. I mean, still some things I have to write down because the computer just doesn't cut it for me, but I've definitely changed that up.
I got my little post-its here for like super important things that I stick right on my screen. Like,
Yeah. That's funny. My son put a post-it on the door the other day with like just a bunch of letters because, he doesn't know how to spell, but he knows how to make some letters. And he was like, it says do not enter. I was like, okay. Like he's 4.5 years old.
top secret, Mom. It's top secret.
I know. It's like, okay. But no, it's good times. So is there anything else with either your classroom setup, your online setup, or just like anything that you're doing practice wise that's working really well for you that you haven't told us about?
So like I said, OBS has been really cool in terms of like changing up the background, showing things on the screen, flipping through things really quickly. One of the tools that I have found most valuable, at least in a science classroom lately, has been PEARDECK.
Oh yeah, I'm there with you.
Yeah, I don't know if other educators are familiar with it. Maybe you've just heard it. Up until a couple of weeks ago, I hadn't really dived into it. And then our district purchased it, like the full version for
Sweet.
our district. And so again, here's me. Hey, it's free. So let me give it a try. And it has been a game changer, especially in science, where I'm asking them to create content on the screen for me. And then I can share that with the rest of the classroom. And I can also see, okay, where are my shortcomings? Like what point didn't I get across pretty quickly?
Okay, so let me ask 2 follow-up questions to both of those points. The first one would be when you're saying they're creating content through PEARDECK, what is the question format that you're using for? Because like I think I just have the regular version. I don't have the full one, and I know like I use multiple choice, true, false, or open-ended.
Let me see if I can pull up. Actually, here I'll pull up a PEARDECK. I have it open from earlier. Where's it at? Here it is. So I'm just gonna drag this over. So again, one of the cool things about this is, like I said, it allows me to flip through things.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly. So in PEARDECK, like this is one that I allow. I'll make the screen bigger, but they can drag. So I like to get a feel of where they're at for the day. And
Okay.
of a mood meter. So, here it's energy, from left to right, it's pleasantness. So just kind of where are you at for today? And, some people are feeling,
Oh,
maybe,
so they take that dot.
yeah,
This is where this is the draggable one.
yes. So they,
Oh, I was always trying to figure out how to use that. I'm like, I don't get it. They only give you so many shapes. Like that doesn't work for me.
yeah. So here they just kind of drag it to the area. And I don't, I tell them, you don't have to put it on something. It's just an area of where you're at. So like, where's your energy level for today?
Oh, I'm
What
gonna use that.
is your energy level really low? But you're feeling, you could be feeling okay, but like, you just don't have the energy. So you're like,
Yeah.
right now, like I probably
I'm
need
chill. Where's chill? Yeah, chill. I see it.
right there. So that's what that a lot of students end up putting it on chill. I'm feeling chill today. And I tell them, I don't expect you, because this is like highest energy, highest pleasantness. And sometimes, like, if this is the best day of your life, if you're logging in today and this is the best you've ever felt because you're logging into my class, then
Hell yeah, let's go.
and of course, I always have that one student who puts it way up here.
Man, I had a student the other day that was just trolling in the comments. Every time I said something, he would just put the wrong answer. And I would be like, wait. And it's like, I was like, do we need to have an office hour? He's like, no, miss, sorry, I'm just trolling. I'm like, well, let's not do that. It's very confusing for me.
Yeah, and I talk to my students about that. But sometimes it provides me the opportunity to say like, look, this is why it's wrong.
Right. No, it is funny. It was totally funny. It was super funny. I appreciate like the kids. Like I think the chat is actually really funny because it takes those side combos that you have in class and are disruptive, and it kind of like really like fully integrates it into it. So I really like the chat. I mean, sometimes I have to like remind kids like, hey, this isn't like your own private group chat, but
So this one was based off of the pre like stress check one that they had.
yeah. Okay.
This one, like this one's already like pre-programmed in PEARDECK, just to get an idea of how they're feeling for the day.
Oh, that's a good idea. I should go through and see what slides they have. I never thought about that.
To me, that's important to see where certain students are at. And I get, yeah, some kids are probably going to troll and put it way over here on 9 or 10. But if I start seeing that as a repeated pattern, it could mean something, especially
Right. Also, yeah, if they're like repeatedly trolling you.
Yeah. But
that's what you should have. Like you can do one with like a troll. Like, how are you feeling today?
on a troll. Yeah, I should put that in there.
Troll under the bridge.
Put like a little troll one. But see, like I can use this as, I'm a science person, so I always look at data. So I'm looking at this plus their grade plus interactions in class. And so if I'm seeing they have a low grade, maybe a lot of zeros, interaction is really low in class, and they are over here, then I'm starting to think, okay, maybe this isn't trolling. Maybe
right.
this is something more to this, where they're just something's going on, and
right.
probably talk to them and see, okay, what, like, how can I help? Not that I can't. It may be something well outside my control, but at least showing empathy and saying, look,
right. I mean, a lot of times that makes all the difference.
Yeah, like
kids want you to realize. Like I even know for myself, sometimes I just get mad and I just want you to invite me back to the group. Like I don't want to come back. I want you to invite me.
Yeah. So for me, that that's kind of how I am starting to use these things, because and I explain to my students, like, when you're here, if you were here, people give off a certain vibe. After you get to know them, more or less what their attitude and body language and facial expressions are. And in class, if I notice your body language isn't where it usually is, your energy level, your facial expressions, maybe it's not a good day to call on you.
Yeah. So and we can't necessarily do that. I mean, I know for me, most of my students don't have their cameras on. So this is definitely a good way to get some of those signals. And that's what I found too. For me, I think that, if you're looking for the camera to be on and like you really need that, I mean, obviously we all like ideally would want that. In professional settings, that's typically like, hey guys, we have to have our cameras on. But with our kids, I think it is a little bit different. And I do think that,
it's on you. Like if that's something you need, that's your problem. You got to find other ways to gather that data. And PEARDECK is something I've been using a lot. All right,
Yeah.
what's this one?
I have been, well, just on that note, I've been a
Okay.
big proponent of telling students, our district made it a policy, they don't have to have their cameras on. And you will have educators that will try to force them to do that. And I tell them, we're not supposed to do that. And there's reasons for that. You know, there are some assumptions that when teachers have these assumptions that if their camera isn't on, they are not there. Like that's just their go-to. It's like, you don't need to have, they don't need to have their camera on for the learning to occur. It's not a make or break. There's other things
Right.
you can do. And
well, and I think some kids have legitimate like bandwidth issues.
well, not just that, but you know, if you have students, depending on their socioeconomic status, that are living, that are having to Zoom in their bedroom with their brother and
Mhm.
sister, and now it's just craziness, and now you're asking them to turn on their camera so that the rest of their peers can get a personal look into their personal lives.
Yeah.
That's really hard. Like that's really, really hard. I mean, I have the luxury of being in this quiet space where no craziness is happening behind me, but not every student is going to have that. And if you're asking them to do, if you're forcing them to do that on a daily basis,
Yeah.
can you imagine what that's
I
just,
had some kids also who just I learned today because they had their cameras on, they were super like into it, and then they stopped. So I'm
Mhm.
like, what's up with that? Like, what happened? They were like, oh, kids were taking videos and posting them on Snapchat. And I was like, oh, like I didn't, we didn't know this. We weren't aware of this issue. Like, you guys need to report that kind of stuff because not only is it just like not cool, but it's actually like illegal.
Yeah.
So just
And
a FYI out there for people who are like, turn on your cameras, this and that. And even responding to, I know a lot of kids who it's a loud stuff going on. So they respond in the chat.
well, there was a comment that was made a long time ago by someone who said, well, I don't understand why they are on Snapchat and TikTok and they're fine showing their faces, and then they don't want to turn their cameras on in class. And my point to that was, when you're on TikTok and when you're on Snapchat, you control the environment. You control the when, the where, how you're going to do it, like what's around you. When you are live, you have no control over what's going to happen in the background. And that creates a lot of anxiety. Having to work on a science problem while you have this anxiety, I don't think is a good thing.
Yeah.
So I said, look, if you want to have your cameras on, that's great. If you don't, that's okay too. But you need to stay engaged with the PEARDECK. I need to make sure that you're there so that I can see where you're having trouble, if you're having trouble. So like this one is a PEARDECK where, we were talking about pH, and this is, just a very basic like intro to pH, whether something's an acid, a base, or it's neutral. So they just took a letter in PEARDECK and they just wrote it next to these. And so I could just quickly scan through all 30 of my students like I would be walking up and down rows and say like, okay, you got it, you got it, you got it. I can.
And so how does the answer come up for that one?
Let me see if I can. I wonder if I think it has student names on there. So I'll
Okay, yeah.
see if I can pull it up. Maybe we can.
Because like I know when I tried like a draw thing and it was like really weird how their answers were coming through. And then and then I know like to look at the spreadsheet, you have to like wait till you end it and it comes down afterwards.
Yes. So the next one was the drawing one. So we're doing this idea of pH right here, and
yeah.
Like a seesaw, it's really about hydrogen ions. The more you have, the more acidic you get. The less you have,
Oh yeah, I totally knew that.
you're more basic. But really, it's just as simple as a seesaw. It's just like I think people overcomplicate pH sometimes. And then I'm asking them to do it here. So like I give them a pH, I put the little seesaw. Now you create the seesaw. So
Okay, and so do all their answers show up at one time or they show up individually?
they show up at one time. So I'm going to pull up.
Okay, yeah, because that's how I remember it. I remember like when I went to the show me answers, they were all kind of like piled on top of each other.
So let me open up So you can go to PEARDECK and it saves all of your sessions.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then you can go to the dashboard. And this dashboard will show you all the responses. So I can go to
Oh,
like right here, and now I can start scrolling down,
and see the different kids.
see how they created.
And can you see that live?
Yes. So this,
Oh, okay. I need to play with it again and see some of these more exact functions.
yeah, so this is happening live. And then there's this little star button here where if I want to show the kids the responses, only the starred responses will show. Because I think
Oh, that's cool.
the fears that teachers have is what if they draw something inappropriate.
Yeah. Okay. I love this. I need to go in there and play with this some more. You've been awesome with everything. Wow. This was an extra special last tip that we got here, huh?
So, in case they do draw something in, and I haven't had it happen. I have this conversation with them. I tell them, because my Zoom sessions are recorded. I tell them like a lot of things in Google Docs and Zoom.
You record your Zoom sessions.
Yeah. So it's pre-programmed. As soon as my Zoom session starts, it's on auto record.
And what is that? So you post them afterwards to your kids, or?
It's not meant to be posted anywhere. It's just there for my reference. So in case something happens, somebody says something that is inappropriate, there's a log of what happened.
Okay.
I just tell them, just we're in a professional setting now.
Yeah.
You may have friends in here, and you may joke with them a certain way, but it doesn't mean that other people in this room joke.
Yeah.
And so we need to be mindful of those people. Same thing with like the language and whatnot. It's like,
Okay, yeah, because I usually don't record my sessions.
yeah. And so I tell them, look, I'm not posting it. Like, it's not going to get posted. It's just there to keep everybody safe.
Okay, interesting.
Sarah's
Yeah, I haven't had any issues. I got Zoom bombed one time by somebody before we put in place our authentication protocol. Because we were having trouble getting kids in originally when we had the authentication. Too many of them didn't get, they had to have their school email. So we did the transition, but my kids were all so cool. They all were like, yo, you need to stop, get out of here. I was like, oh, thank you guys.
So just going back to this one. So this is what this one looked like.
Okay, cool.
Just type in there. They can draw it into.
They can draw or type. Yeah, I found it really helpful for doing, I use just the open-ended one where they could type in a lot. I do it a lot for how you were doing, having them put their, where they're feeling today. I'll do self-assessments kind of like that. Or I'll ask them what's one thing you loved that I did this week? And I'll be like, I big up myself, yay, I'm amazing. But then I also ask what's one thing that you want to see less of, or something I did that you didn't like. So.
And if for me too, when I come back to school, in-person school, one of the things that I hope that I continue to do is this self-reflection of both myself and having my students do self-reflection, because I think, just anecdotally from what I've seen, if they do enough self-reflection, they begin to see patterns in their behavior in terms of how they're feeling.
I think there's enough evidence to back that up that statement. I don't think it's just your anecdotal experience.
So it's something that I'm gonna continue doing, because I think it's really helpful for my students to self-reflect on what they
and one of the feedbacks I got from my students when I asked them what they love is they love PEARDECK. I got very, very positive feedback. I don't think many of their other teachers do it. So they really like that option to not have to answer with their voice or with their cameras. So,
well, the other thing too about PEARDECK is I know some educators are using the chat function, but so much gets lost in the chat, and then to have to go back and open up the chat, and it's not in the greatest formats when you open it up for Zoom. So this just makes it nice and organized for you to go back and review something.
Yep. And sometimes I just sometimes I will do Kahoot when I want it to be more of a challenge. And those days I don't usually use PEARDECK, but if I'm not doing Kahoot, I'm definitely in the PEARDECK.
So I don't know. I have this love-hate relationship with Kahoot. Every time I try Kahoot, once in a while, I like I said, every couple months I try it again. Every time I try it, something goes wrong.
What goes wrong?
Oh, like no, I have a wrong setting.
Oh.
It's the wrong link.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I mean, the kids love it. Like, I don't like to do it too much because then it's just like becomes about Kahoot, or like they're not actually um like taking in the material. They're just like trying to get the right answer. But it also has to do with the way I design it. Sometimes I feel like I do it better than other times to kind of get the type of engagement I'm looking for. But the kids, that's one of the most things that they request is to play Kahoot. So
I like using Quizlet Live, so plug to Quizlet.
okay, Quizlet Live. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll have them like for a warm up. I'll be like, go practice on Quizlet, because I like have decks for and sets for them to practice pre-made, and then we'll do like a Kahoot like challenge off of that. I guess I could look and just like let's do it straight from Quizlet. That's a good idea. So oh, I love it. Sharing so many ideas and so much like stuff that I would just and some stuff is like big stuff. Like I think the OBS is like a big move, but there was a lot of like little things in there, or even things that you do in OBS that can also be done in Zoom if you're looking for kind of that midway point.
I see just one more thing that
Yeah.
students have found helpful is, so at the beginning of my slideshow, they know this by heart. I'll put it up on my screen right now. This link right here, this bit.ly/Avila links, this basically takes them to a homepage of buttons or links that we're commonly using all the time. Because if they get kicked out of PEARDECK, it's this question of, can you put the link in the chat again? Can you go here again?
Mm.
Where do I find that? So things that we use consistently, there is a little button page for them. So PEARDECK, so they know to go here, they click on this and it takes them right there. They're just waiting for the code. And so usually,
Cool, okay. And the code's in the corner.
and so they don't have to ask me for, oh, what's that? You know, can you put in the, you know, what is it, join PD or same thing with Zoom
Your
meetings.
Zoom link.
I use Quizzes, Google Classroom, Quizlet. So these are all like things that are super common. I like to have updates for them here. There's like an appointment calendar if they're
Okay, cool.
so that's also super helpful. My students like a one-stop shop to go to for links.
Yeah, I like that idea too. I kind of do something similar, like straight in my Google Classroom. I have like a links thing where I just kind of like list them up there.
The only thing with Google Classroom, I had to change some settings because in the stream, all the work and the links were kind of getting.
Oh yeah, I changed that so it only shows my announcements on the stream and then assignments only on classwork section.
Yeah, I could use that tip. Like,
Oh no, yeah. I saw that there was somebody who does like a bunch of Google Classroom stuff, like these little short videos. And so I'll just like throw them on. And some stuff I'm like, oh, I know that. But some stuff I'm like, oh, I see what you did there.
yeah. So yeah, that's super helpful. Like once I discovered that, I'm like, okay, I can post stuff here now too.
Mm-hmm. All right. So is there any like last minute inspiration that you want to give to all the teachers? Because, you know, some teachers are like killing it right now, like you out there. But even if we're killing it, it's still a little bit of struggle. So yeah, what advice or inspiration do you have for everybody out there?
I say just breathe. Breathe and have a lot of empathy for yourself and for your students. We're in a time like no other, and it's provided me, and I hope it provides teachers out there, a chance to go outside of their normal comfort zone and try new things that you would have never tried before, and play around with things. For me, I said this in one of my videos that, I always talk about, wow, if I could go back to being a first year teacher with all the knowledge I have now, what a difference it would have made. Like if I could take these 14 years of knowledge and go back to year one, man, what a difference it would make. Because I'm sure for many teachers, you've grown over the years, you've amassed new knowledge. And this was the opportunity to do that because we're all first year teachers all over again. I'm a first year teacher. Everyone else is a first year teacher because we're doing things for the first time. So you have a chance to take those 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years of experience and put yourself as a first year teacher all over again. So
Just breathe. Yes, those deep breaths. So necessary. So yeah, especially if you want to be able to connect with that joy,
Yeah.
ground yourself, so important. Well, thank you so much, Jaime. This has been an awesome conversation. I mean, I just learned so much for myself. Like, I don't even care about anybody else, but I'm sure that they're going to be so grateful for this, reaching out to you on Instagram. So definitely make sure you're following him. And yeah,
And so the least I can do for all the content you've put out and, all the inspiration and positivity that you throw out into the universe. Thank you so much for that. Like I said, you're watching your Instagrams always keeps me going, puts a smile on my face. So thank you.
a beautiful face it is. And we're going to make it happen again, I'm sure, sometime. So keep doing your thing and good luck with the rest of your year.
All right. Good luck, everyone.
Okay, so much good stuff in there. And I mean, Jaime, just such a cool guy, so genuine. And you could tell that he just serves his students so well and that they really love him. And like I said, you need to make sure you go follow him on social media because he gives you a lot of the insight into those moments he has with his students, how he connects with them, and how he's constantly getting tips from them. He DM'd me right after we finished recording or the next day, and he was like, "Oh man, we just missed out. My kid showed me this cool thing with how to get the Snapchat filters on. He was doing this whole Halloween thing, and it's just such a good model for other teachers to be themselves and to just have some joy. That's a theme I've really been harping on a lot lately. I know with being online and all the chaos and craziness from the coronavirus to the election, like we gotta have joy, and that's what I'm always Stay Foolish is about, and that's why I always leave you with that. And it's more important than ever. We gotta work hard, and that's what is good, but we gotta stay foolish too. And Jaime is one of those people who's always just pushing me up, always just putting a little bit extra light to my day, always cheering me on, and just sharing those good teacher vibes. And that's what every teacher needs in their circle. So make sure you connect with him on social media. Check out all his content if you want a little bit more of a breakdown and the how-tos and how to do any of this technological stuff. And like I said, I got a lot more great content coming your way. If you have a certain topic or issue you want me to cover, or a certain person who you want me to have a conversation with, let me know in those comments down below, or follow me on my social media. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I have some other stuff, but those are the main ones that I use. And also, I'm actually running a GoFundMe right now for my kids. I do a lot of the extracurriculars and co-curriculars. That's really one of the things I'm passionate about. Of course, I'm a history teacher, but for me, it's like, yeah, history's cool, but you got to get the kids hooked. And I'm really trying to make it happen for them. We're in a budget crisis right now in New York State. There's like no funds. We're scraping by. So I was looking to put together a few dollars. We're over halfway to our goal of $500, so I could put together a few nice online events, reward the kids with some prizes, gift cards, different experiences in the time of social distancing, things like that. Keep them motivated, keep having fun, just like we gotta have fun. So all those links are in the description down below. Anything you can give, $1, $5, $100. Man, if you could give it a share, I would truly appreciate that. All those links are in the description down below. And really, have some joy. And that's why I gotta leave you with, stay foolish, y'all.